I will show you the best performing crypto portfolio for the upcoming bull market in 2024-2025. But why is the best? Well, simply because it includes some of the most promising projects within the top 7 categories that have the most amount of upside potential. It is very well diversified in terms of risk management, potential returns, and different fields, so you actually have the best chances of squeezing the most out of the crypto market during the next bull run, while your investments are relatively safe. I've literally spent weeks researching hundreds of projects to include in this video and make it the best performing crypto portfolio for the next bull market. And I did that by balancing between safety, potential return on investment, price action during the bear market. So we're gonna analyze the charts as well, the fundamentals, that's key of course, the team behind the project, socials, and more specifically Twitter, how active they are, is the community engaging, and etc. Influencers supporting the project, because that plays a big role in crypto as well. Roadmap, or in other words, what are their plans going forward? Is the project just another copycat or they are innovators? And so on and so forth. So as you can see, balancing between all these factors is extremely challenging, and I put the time and effort to come up with the best possible project selection for this portfolio as a whole. Also, as you might know, statistically, 90% of the altcoins from the previous cycle just don't put new all-time highs, and we don't want to make 5x in 2 years investing in the top 25 coins by market cap and say that we play it safely. So in order for me to choose the one per category that can make 50, 100 or 1000x, but also has the survivability to actually make it to the next bull market and not just die off or perform very poorly, I had to really go extremely deep in my research and accept no decent options. But for an extra layer of security, I chose 7 different categories that have the highest amount of upside potential, and they are with different risk levels as well. So this is not some type of degenerate portfolio where every coin has 500 or 1000x potential, but it actually has very solid coins for almost guaranteed great returns, as well as coins that can absolutely set records in the next 2 years. So I don't want to waste more time, I just highly recommend you to stick until the end, because this video will be one of the few that you won't regret watching. So the first category on our list is layer 1s, and the project that I picked is Injective. So why did I pick this project specifically? Well, Injective is a blockchain built for finance. It is an open, interoperable layer 1 blockchain powering next generation DeFi applications, including decentralized spot and derivatives exchanges, lending protocols, prediction markets, and more. Injective provides powerful core financial infrastructure primitives that applications can leverage, including a fully decentralized MEV-resistant on-chain order book. And if you don't know what MEV is, MEV essentially stands for Maximal Extractable Value, and people create these MEV bots that take advantage of how blockchain works and basically front-run people's transactions and make them pay more for gas fees. And that extra gas that they have to pay essentially goes as a profit to the owner of the MEV bot. So this really hurts the blockchains, since all this happens automatically and someone is getting stupid rich on the back of all the people that have to pay higher gas prices. So they found a way to prevent that. In addition, all forms of financial markets such as spot, perpetual, futures, and options are fully on-chain. The decentralized cross-chain bridging infrastructure is compatible with Ethereum, IBC-enabled blockchains, and non-EVM chains such as Solana. Injective also provides a next-generation, highly interoperable smart contract platform based on Cosmos ASM with advanced interchain capabilities. Injective is custom-built with the Cosmos SDK and utilizes a Tendermint-based proof-of-stake consensus mechanism, providing instant transactions finality with over 10,000 transactions per second. The block time is less than 1 second and transactions are basically free. For example, if I pull up this comparison table of some of the top layer 1s and have a look at their NFT mint fees, we can see that the gas fee of minting one NFT on Ethereum will cost you around $20. Now, we all know that pretty much 99% of the chains have lower fees than Ethereum, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense to make a comparison with it, but I think it's a good idea just to give you some perspective. However, the next two are considered the main competitors of Ethereum, and they have much better stats and also lower gas fees. So minting one NFT on Solana will cost you around 20 cents, and on Polygon only 1 cent. However, as you can see, on Injective, minting an NFT will be pretty much free. That's just an insignificant amount. But what about minting 100 NFTs? Well, things start to get interesting, because the cost on Ethereum is just mind-blowing. More than $2,000. On Solana will cost you $17–18, and on Polygon only $1. As you can see, Injective will handle that for only 6 cents. Now, there's this interesting comparison of 10,000 NFTs, since that's how many NFTs consist in most of the collections, and the price you have to pay to mint those NFTs on on the Ethereum blockchain is just, I don't even want to comment that, it's just absurd. But I want to drive your attention at Solana and Polygon. And I'm not sure if you noticed at this point how well Solana is scaling, and on the other side how poorly Polygon is scaling. Despite the lower fees on Polygon for the lower amount of NFT mints, Polygon is just not capable to keep the fees low at a higher scale. And Solana on the other hand, despite not being so cheap at the lower amount, it shows that the more pressure you put, the lower the fees become. And I mean the overall percentage, not that it will literally cost you less to mint 1000 NFTs over 10,000 obviously. So you get the point. However, even though Solana is scaling quite well, the fees are still noticeable, and that's an issue. So at this point you probably saw that minting 10,000 NFTs on Injective is gonna cost you only $6 for fees, and that's quite a big difference. Now I must say something very important here, so I want you to listen very carefully. Ethereum could easily be the winner in this battle in the long run by implementing more upgrades like sharding and etc. and lowering their fees. No one knows what exactly is going to happen in the future, and frankly, the blockchain that is going to dominate the world probably doesn't exist yet. Who knows? That's a probability too. But our job as investors is to identify good opportunities, and I don't know whether Injective is going to overtake Ethereum in the future and be the most used blockchain in the world, but it's definitely a good opportunity considering its low fees. And one more thing, I say all that because I do realize that once Injective does 100x from here or 500x or whatever, the fees will go up significantly too. And no, the gas fees do not go up in direct one-to-one correlation with the price, but they go up in correlation with the volume, and the volume is in direct correlation with the price. So the higher the volume, the higher the price, therefore the higher the fees as well. And that's why I do not claim that Injective is the top layer one or it will become the one, but I identify it as a great project that can make tremendous returns for the investors, and that's what you should care about. And honestly, looking at the Injective's roadmap, I can see quite interesting stuff coming up. Now I'm not gonna claim that I'm fully aware of what all this stuff is, but from a first glance we can see that they are planning multiple upgrades like this Injective Exchange module version 2, Casablanca upgrade, Carcosa upgrade, Volon upgrade, these orbital chains, mesh chains, multi-VM chains and etc. So they are constantly building and trying to improve their chain. It's not like this is the final product. On top of that, they have these commercial partnerships and integrations going on with some of the top players in the space like Polkadot, Polygon, Elrond, Chainlink, Avalanche and etc. So really promising stuff. When it comes to the team behind Injective, Eric Chen is the CEO and co-founder. He is also a venture partner at Innovating Capital, one of the Injective's early investors. Albert Chon is the CTO and co-founder. He previously worked as a software development engineer at Amazon and has his BA in computer science from Stanford University. The team also has specialists in developing web applications, smart contracts in Rust and Golang, and experts in financial products and various markets. In terms of socials, we know that crypto lives on Twitter, so they have over 300,000 followers. They also tweet every day, and the engagement on their posts is quite well. The project is backed by Binance, Pantera and Mark Cuban, and one of the main influencers supporting this project is Crypto Wizard, which essentially has more followers than the project itself, and he shields this project to his audience pretty much on a daily basis. But what's the actual upside potential, you might be wondering? Well, at the time I'm writing the script for this video, and bear in mind that it could take a week or more to edit and upload this video, so the numbers could be completely inaccurate. But as of right now, Injective is at 57th spot with a market cap of $760 million. This immediately puts this project within the safer pocket in our portfolio, so I choose Injective to act like a base from which we can build on. But I know what you are thinking right now. This project doesn't have a lot of potential going forward in terms of returns. Well, let me pull up the Solana chart real quick and just show you what was the market cap of Solana at the peak of the last bull market. As you can see, it was $75 billion. 75 billion. That's literally 100x from the current market cap of Injective. And if we take a look at the beginning of 2021, we can see that Solana started the year with only a $70 million market cap, and in less than 2 weeks literally exploded to $1 billion. And what do you think people thought back then when this coin pumped so hard in such a short amount of time? They probably thought that only 5 to 10x at best should be expected. What's the point of investing in this risky coin for 5 to 10x ROI when you can invest in Ethereum, let's say, for better ROI and much lower risk? But funny enough, it did 100x from this point here, which is the exact same market cap as Injective right now. Of course, I'm not saying Injective is primed to do 100x from here, and you should bet the family farm right now. But what I'm trying to say is that even though this coin has a quite high market cap, this doesn't mean that the upside potential is relatively small. Considering its superiority over Solana, however, I think $75 billion is definitely on the cards. And and it should not be overlooked whatsoever. But even if it doesn't reach that, as I said, I chose this project to act as a foundation for our portfolio, because with its higher market cap is relatively safe, and coins with much greater upside potential are coming next. But one last thing I want to touch on is its price action. As you can see, it looks like Injective put a double bottom here, and it's been up 8.5x since then. The price action during the bear market is really impressive. The coin constantly pushes higher and it looks very strong. We can see that it's very close to its all-time high, and we are not even in the bull market yet. So that clearly indicates very strong price action, and the future of this project is definitely bright in my opinion. Now I must also say that I lean bearish in the short term for the crypto market overall, and I do expect a decent pullback at some point. The main target that I'm looking for Injective is this very strong support zone between $2 and $3, which is more than 70% pullback from the current prices. Getting in at around the $3 mark is a great entry point in my opinion, and that's the main level of interest for me. But you know, nothing is guaranteed, and you should always have a bullish plan and a bearish plan. You should always be prepared for both scenarios. Now it's definitely time to move on to the next category on the list, and that is DEXs, or decentralized exchanges. And the project that I picked for this category is WOO. Simply said, WOO Network is a deep liquidity network connecting traders, exchanges, institutions, and DeFi platforms with democratized access to the best-in-class liquidity and trading execution at lower or zero cost. Yes, they actually aim to provide zero cost for trading, and fees are one of the main considerations for any trader when selecting a platform. So right off the bat, that's a huge value proposition that will make many people interested. On top of that, institutional clients benefit from WOO's powerful order matching system, which provides the best rates for their transactions thanks to the depth of the order book. The bid-ask spreads are narrow, and traders benefit from WOO's vast liquidity pool and powerful order matching engine, which ensures that they obtain the best price for their transactions. WOO Network has two core products, WOOX, which is a centralized exchange, and WOOFi, which is a decentralized exchange. The effectiveness of any exchange depends on both buyers and sellers' ability to complete orders rapidly. Deep liquidity is required to ensure that large orders have little to no slippage and a small bid-ask spread. Simply said, this means that a lot of people are willing to sell and buy cryptocurrencies on the order book, and the exchange can easily meet demand. WOO Network obtains liquidity from both platform users and professional liquidity providers, including exchanges, market makers, and institutions. On the other hand, WOOFi is a Binance Smart Chain-based automated market maker that uses the synthetic proactive market making approach to calculate prices. The more uncomplicated, traditional constant product market maker is used by the majority of common automated market makers. In WOOFi's liquidity pools, users might trade between token pairings, and unlike AMMs like Uniswap on Ethereum, their approach is more akin to a typical exchange's order book. The synthetic proactive market making scans order book prices from centralized exchanges like Binance and calculates an appropriate trade price using WOO Network's market data oracles. In terms of trading, they don't use the typical dual asset liquidity pool arrangement, but single pools to provide liquidity. WOOFi or WOOFi, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, manages and rebalances these assets by rewarding investors who provide low liquidity assets with incentives. Users can also farm yield by depositing liquidity pool tokens from other DEXs and individual assets. Profits are reinvested automatically in these vaults, allowing you to multiply your interest. They also commit 50% of the platform's income to buy and burn WOO tokens every month, which is of course also very bullish. One thing that arguably everyone likes and wanna see is transparency, and they have this proof of reserves and liabilities widget on their website, where you can see how they manage their assets and are your money safe on their platform. On top of that, you can see this comparison between OKX, Bybit and Binance, and clearly WOOX is outperforming them in terms of slippage and fees and fee rate. But their plans don't stop here. They keep building, and one of the things they're launching next is a launchpad where you can get your hands on the promising new projects. However, the WOO Network was incubated by Kronos Research, a multi-strategy trading firm that specializes in market making, arbitrage, CTA, and high-frequency trading, averaging $5 to $10 billion of daily trading volume on global cryptocurrency exchanges. So to me, this project really looks like they're aiming for something big and not just be the next decentralized or centralized exchange. One thing I want to point out is that currently they don't have a lot of Twitter following, and their tweets don't get a lot of engagement. However, there are a few big influencers like Crypto Tony and Crypto Wizard that are supporting this project, and they are tweeting quite frequently about it. They both have almost 500,000 followers, and even though I think most of them are just bots that they bought to get their numbers up, they still have a decent engagement, and they will drive a lot of people into the project over time. But what we can actually expect from WOO network in terms of returns of investment? Well, WOO is another high-cap crypto project that I picked for this video, with over $300 million market cap. But hey, don't worry, that's part of the plan for the perfect portfolio, having another foundational coin to ensure your gains in the bull market. We will get to those low-cap gems that can absolutely skyrocket the ROI of your portfolio, just bear with me. But even though $300 million might seem like a lot, if we take a look at Uniswap's coin, just so we can have a general perspective on what we can expect, we can see that during the last bull run, Uni token reached an all-time high market cap of $22.5 billion. And that's actually around 70x from the current market cap of WOO network. And of course, that's considering that Uni is just a decentralized exchange, and we can see that its performance is not incredible by any means. So WOO token can easily surpass that in my opinion, and even though I consider it as a foundational coin in my portfolio, I think 100x is definitely possible at the peak of the bull market in roughly 2 years. Of course, like I already mentioned, I expect further downside price action during the rest of 2023 and probably Q1 of 2024, and that will give you the chance to grab this coin at much better prices. And speaking about prices, of course we're gonna have a look at the bear market's performance of this coin on TradingView. So as you can see, this coin didn't do as well as Injective, but still made a decent 3.5x from the bottom to the top. And more importantly, whoever bought down here, their investment is still 2x up. And many other so-called safer altcoins like Chainlink, VeChain, Cardano and etc. but a low very recently, despite having billions of dollars market cap. So WOO didn't do something spectacular during the bear market in terms of upside price action, but holding the price quite well is not something to be neglected whatsoever, because this also shows a lot of strength. Personally, I think we might visit the 10-cent area sometime in the near future, but I'm gonna be also looking at this 12 to 13 cents range for potential exposure, again targeting the key zones. But now let's move on to the next category on our portfolio, and that is AI, or artificial intelligence. Now there are so many good projects in this category, and I think this will be one of the top performers in the next bull market, so it will be very hard to go wrong with any project within the AI space. But for this video I decided to pick Vyot. Now the first thing we can see on their website is that their token is VFAA regulated, and VFAA stands for Virtual Financial Assets Act, and with that in mind I can also include that the project, their company and the token offering itself were audited several times, verified and approved by Grant Thornton and the Malta Financial Services Authority. So right out of the gate we can see that they are not playing around. But what is actually Vyot? Vyot combines artificial intelligence and blockchain to create new ways of digitally accessing services and securely concluding legal agreements using a natural user interface. Vyot enables both businesses and consumers to utilize a set of technologies called intelligent contracts, which have the same concept as smart contracts. These intelligent contracts serve as personal assistants available on mobile devices via a simple natural user interface, providing AI-based, ready-to-sign legal services. Additionally, Vyot offers an AI-driven solution that aggregates goods and services and distributes them to customers via highly tailored offers and recommendations. On top of that, they have an AI assistant for smart shopping, purchasing services, and carrying out instant transactions, giving customers simpler, quicker, and more convenient methods to access services provided by different businesses. With the introduction of a Polygon Edge-based blockchain and a number of integrations with the Polygon public chain, Vyot also joined the Polygon ecosystem. I believe this is incredibly positive for the project because I personally think Polygon will perform extremely well in the upcoming bull market. Vyot has countless applications because of its machine learning and artificial intelligence, although it primarily focuses on the insurance and legal industries. I like the collaboration with IBM Watson for their proof of concept because IBM Watson is a data analytics processor that makes use of natural language processing, a technology that analyzes the meaning and syntax of human speech. To branch the AI conversational flow and cover the unstructured portions of the use flow, Vyot is also integrating GPT-3, ChatGPT, and it will include GPT-4. And I believe everyone is aware of how strong GPT-4 is and how much it can expand the features of this project. The most structured portions of Vyot's assistant's conversational flows, however, is handled by Microsoft LUIS, and LUIS is also known as Language Understanding Intelligence Services, a cloud-based conversational AI service. LUIS is governing users' core path in Vyot systems, allowing them to apply custom ML intelligence to a user's conversational, natural language text to predict overall meaning and pull out relevant information. If I pull up the roadmap, we can see that this whole thing started back in 2017, when the idea of Vyot was born. In 2018, they've made it reality, and that's quite a long time of building. For the year 2023, we can see that they they're planning pretty big things, including Microsoft integrations, Polygon mainnet launch, GPT-4 integrations, and so on and so forth. The interesting thing is that they set up plans even for 1 year ahead, because we can see their roadmap up until Q3 of 2024, which is a very good sign. Also, the things they're planning to launch in 2024 make me feel very bullish, because projects that have features with real-life use cases will go places, and news like launching an AI legal assistant V1, for example, in 2024, when most people will be bullish, will pump the price quite hard in my opinion. But if we leave this aside and have a look at their team, the first thing I notice is that they have quite a lot of people on their team, and of course, it's always a good sign when the team is doxed. This guy here, Christoph, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, is the co-founder and CEO, and right off the bat, we can see these 3 decades of experience in managing innovative projects and high-profile human resources. All of the team members have quite detailed descriptions with a lot of experience in their fields, and that gives me the feeling that they know what they're doing, and the chances of actually delivering what they're promising are very high. But in terms of innovating, they are not actually doing something never seen before, and that is thanks to ChatGPT. But this doesn't mean this project is just another copycat trying to get a piece of the pie, because in the crypto space, I don't think there's another project aiming to solve the same issues. So even if some other project pops up and try to capitalize on the same idea, I think it's safe to say that Vayot has been building this for so long now, and they will always be ahead of the potential competition. So we can consider them as one of the first to come up with this idea, and probably innovators as well. However, if we take a look at their Twitter account, we can see they have not a bad following of about 40,000 people, and their tweets got a decent engagement. Of course, the engagement is not huge, but it looks alright. And one thing I want to point out here is that I didn't find any major influencers supporting this project as of right now, but right off the bat, we can see that the same influencer that is supporting the previous 2 projects is following this one as well, so we might expect a few mentions here and there in the future. And during a bull market, when the charts are really looking like they will only go up, that's all that people need to pull the trigger. And speaking about that, I want to show you the current stats of this coin and the potential return on investment. As you can see, we finally got to those low cap gems that have the potential to make you 7 figures by investing only a few thousand. So Vayot currently sits at around $20 million market cap, and if we do a very simple and quick math, we can see that 100x will put the market cap of this coin at $2 billion, which is pretty much at the lower end if we talk about the peak of euphoria in the bull market. Now 500x on the other hand will put the market cap at $10 billion, which is still nothing crazy, but investing only $2,000 will give you the opportunity to cash out $1 million. But I don't want to give you some random numbers here, so I'm gonna pull up the chart on TradingView to see a little bit better how this coin is performing. One thing I want to show you right away to evaluate these hundreds of x's I mentioned earlier is that Vayot casually did almost 60x this year in only 2.5 months, and that's in the bear market. So imagine if this coin unleashes its full potential in the bull market. These 500x don't look so unrealistic now, isn't it? So that's the kind of price action we want to see during the bear market. But to be completely honest, I think this coin is currently overvalued and it's going to dip further from here, so better buying opportunities will come very soon. And what I'm actually looking for is this major support here between 2 and 2.5 cents, which will represent around a 70% dip from the current price, and I think it will be an ideal entry for long-term positions. Could it go lower? Yeah, why not? In crypto everything is possible, but is it a good entry though? Absolutely is. So as you might have seen, I don't aim to catch the bottom or anything like that. I don't care if the price dips even further and I could have bought it even lower. I'll be happy with that entry and I'll just patiently wait for the bull run. And bull run in my opinion won't start without the crypto gaming, so that's logically our next category on the list. And the project that I picked is Katana Inu. Katana Inu is a third-party play-to-earn game with photorealistic visuals, high-end graphics, 3D characters, and weapon models that can be minted as NFTs. Now, when it comes to gaming, I usually try to recommend a project that is more like a gaming studio and not just a single game, simply because if the game fails or people lose interest at some point, your investment will go to zero. And on the other hand, the gaming studio will keep producing new games and it will be just fine. But the way I structured this portfolio, I chose to take this risk because this project is quite promising and we already have other solid projects that we can consider relatively safe investments. So this is one of the gems that are very questionable, but the risk to reward ratio is very appealing, but more on that later. Players of this game will be able to enjoy all aspects of traditional play-to-earn games, such as hunting and discovering loot boxes, which they can sell on the marketplace. Users will also be able to watch games being streamed on Twitch and YouTube, as well as take part in monthly tournaments. The NFT marketplace, where players can exchange in-game assets including skins, caps, special powers and characters is another essential component of Katana Inu. But apart from NFT trading, another way players will be able to earn income through Katana Inu is by engaging in one of its several gameplay modes. The game's main event, Battle Royale, meets 60 players against one another in a player versus player battle for kata tokens and in-game items. Tournaments, races, and 3 versus 3 clashes are additional gameplay options that the devs promise, though they haven't given much information about how these would operate. But overall, looking at the game, I think it definitely has the potential to be one of the leaders in the space, because it really gives me some World of Warcraft vibes, and I think it will attract a lot of gamers. However, as much as I like this game, I must point out that their roadmap doesn't look very promising, unfortunately. Now, this could be simply because they didn't update it, but looking at it right now, there are not any big things coming up for this project. So I guess they are mainly working on the game right now, but probably they should be more detailed so people can figure out what's going on with their project. As far as the team, it is called Chain Vision, and they are a group of German developers that assembled to create this game. They have experience with sales and e-commerce and are backed by several crypto VC funds such as Bluezilla. They claim to have 10 plus more team members, 35 game devs, and 10 blockchain developers. Now, we don't know if that's true, but it's good that at least the core team is doxed and we can actually see them. In terms of innovation, it's hard to find something within the gaming space to be innovative, to be honest. Yes, they have very nice graphics and photorealistic visuals and all that, but they are not the first project that we've seen bringing that to the table. For example, Illuvium has insane graphics as well, but of course we don't want to invest in the obvious ones, and instead we gotta ask ourselves which is the next Illuvium, and that's essentially what we are doing here. I think Katana Inu has the potential to be the next Illuvium, even though they didn't come up with something new that we haven't seen before. But we are also gonna have a look at their Twitter account, and as you see, they have a decent following, so that's a good start. And while scrolling down and checking their tweets, we can see that they don't have a bad engagement either, so the community is definitely there. But let's have a look at who is supporting this project. Right off the bat, we can see again that Crypto Wizard is following this account, but we can mention some other names as well. For example, Crypto Sevo with more than 200,000 followers and Still Capo with more than 100,000 followers. So we will definitely see a lot of support on social media for this project, and this can move the price big time. But what can we expect from this project in terms of ROI? Well, Katana Inu's market cap is a joke right now, and it really puts it within the 1000x potential coins, where the risk is higher, but the returns are also higher. Now, you might say that 1000x doesn't sound very realistic, but considering its current market cap of $8 million, 1000x will put the market cap at $8 billion. So for the sake of having some perspective, Illuvium's all-time high market cap during the previous bull run was over $1 billion, only based on speculations. There was not a game that was launched at that point, so people pushed the market cap only because they liked how the game will eventually look. Another example is Gala Games. During its peak, the market cap reached over $5 billion, and here they had launched a few games at that point, if I'm not mistaken, but the games are nowhere near close to the quality of Illuvium or Katana Inu. A more relative example could be Axie Infinity, where there was a launched game that went viral and it had a very solid user base. The market cap went close to $10 billion at its peak, and the game was just meh. Yes, people were earning very decent money at some point due to its play-to-earn model, but the game was just too simple and not very interesting to attract gamers only because of the game alone. The users were attracted because of the money-making aspect, so I think it's safe to say that Katana Inu definitely has the potential to reach an $8 to $10 billion market cap in the next bull run if they launch their game near the peak of euphoria. But in order to do 1000x, it doesn't necessarily have to go all the way up to $8 billion, and that's because we can genuinely have the chance to buy lower. As you can see, this coin did a pretty good run at the beginning of this year, making almost 15x. Now that happened pretty quickly, and since then the price action is very poor, trading down within this bearish channel. One thing I noticed is once the price touched this support level and also the bottom trend line of this channel, it quickly reversed and showed very high demand. Now I think the price will almost definitely visit this area again, which will represent a good buying opportunity. But what I'm personally looking at, and I think would be a great entry, is this major support level here, which will basically represent another 60% down from the current price. So 60% down will put the market cap of Katana Inu at around $3 million, and 1000x starts to look even more realistic at this point. So I don't want to make you think that investing in this coin will solve all your financial issues for life, because this is a very risky play and you must manage your risk accordingly. Every coin has its purpose in this portfolio and you should not go all in on any particular one. And speaking about that, another category category within the crypto space that saw a lot of hype during the last bull run and that I think will do extremely well in the next bull market as well is the metaverse. Now, before I start, I want to point out that it's very unclear how this whole metaverse narrative will play out. And what I mean by that is it gonna be just one metaverse at the end where everybody will hang around? Is there gonna be multiple ones and people can jump from one another? Currently it's completely unclear. But looking at the current projects, even though Bored Ape Yacht Club's NFT project faced a pretty big hit recently, I think their metaverse has the highest chances of being one of the most used ones, and therefore the ApeCoin soaring in the bull run. However, there are so many good projects in this category and ApeCoin's market cap is still too high for my liking. That's why for my portfolio I picked World, because it checks almost all of my boxes. This metaverse is a 3D world that works with non-fungible tokens, and the team leveraged Zero Space to build a realistic world for users. Everything in the metaverse is three-dimensional, and many assets holders own are also NFTs. You can interact with other users, acquire property, sell some products in marketplaces, and this makes it largely similar to the real world. While the world will also provide tools, enabling creators to showcase their projects and products, and it strives to be a community-centered platform that gives exposure to a virtual reality world. It hopes to make this possible by building cities for exploration, and the first city they are working on is Miami, notably similar to Miami's popular city, and that's also built on the blockchain. While the world has numerous games, enabling players to play while earning money, and one of the most popular games in Miami is Wild Wheels. Wheels are AAA quality 5D cars ready to drive and race around Miami. This game is exclusively on Miami, allowing players to race or rent out their favorite cars for payments. Also, the cars have intriguing programming, affecting their gameplay and speed, just like a regular game. The thing I like the most about this project is that it is fully immersive, photorealistic, VR and AR integrated, and the metaverse is built to sustain a global digital economy, support full internet scale, and be home of billions of daily users. Everything they put out there just looks super high-end and with attention to detail. I think the projects that are taking their time to build everything to the highest quality possible and be able to handle potentially billions of users are here to stay and will do extremely well. In terms of the roadmap, unfortunately I was unable to find an updated roadmap for this project. It seems like they don't have one, and on the one that is available, we can see that they are basically developing the metaverse, adding some new things and features, and overall improving the experience. One thing I don't like is that we can't find much information about the team behind the project. All we know is that Frank Wilder is the founder and creative director, Neo is co-founder and CTO, Dave Waslen is co-founder and partner, Phoenix Wilder is co-founder and director of operations, and Hypno Wilder is co-founder and director of marketing. But who are these guys? Why do they hide their names and faces and don't provide any information on their website about themselves? I have no idea. Usually the reasons are not very pleasant, but considering that Bored Ape Yacht Club's team was not doxed as well, but they never scammed their community, and also that while the world is being around for a while now and it's not going anywhere, they keep building, I think we don't have any strong reasons to be concerned about the reliability of this project. So with that aside, I think we can say that they are actually innovators in the space, since I haven't seen anyone building what they're building. Yes, other projects also build very interesting metaverses, and some of them are very high quality as well, but the type of games and the level of quality I think is currently unmatched, so that's another reason for them to be ahead of the competition. They are building something different and they are easily distinguishable from the rest of the metaverse projects. If we hop into their Twitter account, we can see that their following is quite noticeable. They have more than 130,000 followers. However, the engagement on their tweets is almost identical to the previous project's Twitter accounts, where they had 2 times less followers, so the engagement is not great percentage-wise. When it comes to influencers, honestly, during the last bull run I saw almost every major influencer shilling this project, so when the metaverse euphoria comes back, I do expect a lot of influencers to start talking about this project more frequently. But what is this project's potential? How high the price can go? Well, the current market cap is around $80 million, and it might seem like a lot, but 100x is definitely on the cards, considering that the Central Land, for example, during the previous bull run went all the way up to almost $9 billion market cap, just because it had a working product and the metaverse narrative was quite hot back then. So $10 billion market cap or whatever, I think is very possible for Wild World, if they keep building and show decent progress in the near future. Now, by showing you different projects as examples, doesn't mean that this is what I expect them to reach at most. The projects from this portfolio can easily go beyond these prices, but I'm trying to show you that there's historical data supporting my thesis. So while the world world leans more towards the safer side of the portfolio with its market cap, but it can also give pretty wild returns. And of course, the next thing we're gonna look at is the price action during the bear market. As you can see, this coin did a little bit over 4x during the bear market, and it's actually struggling to even reach this resistance area of 90 cents. So the good thing is that the price is continuing to put higher lows and higher highs, and it basically looks bullish. And the bad thing is that it kinda behaves like a high cap coin that is too big to move. However, there are many projects with great potential from the previous bull market that just bleed non-stop and they are pretty much dead. Also, there are multiple projects from the top 25 that put a lower low very recently. So at least, while the world is holding quite well and the price is currently on an uptrend. Now, I don't think this will last forever and lower prices should be expected. What I'm personally looking at are these two major support levels, the one at around 25 cents and the one at around 16 cents, which is basically the bottom. I think it's very likely the price to visit the bottom again at some point, and that would be around 50% pullback from the current price. So we can have a chance to expose ourselves to this project at around $40 million market cap, which is great. But what is the Web3 and the metaverse without NFTs? They come hand in hand, isn't it? Well, that's why I chose the next category to be NFTs, and this was probably kind of expected. But stay tuned for the last one on the list because it's the most current narrative that is just starting to build traction and I think will be huge in 2 years time. But in regards to the NFTs category, I choose the project Remark. If I have to explain this project really simply, Remark basically has the tools to turn static NFT JPEGs into dynamic NFTs, and the applications of that are currently undervalued. But in order to understand the true potential of this project, I have to go a little bit more in detail. So Remark is built on top of the Kusama network, and Kusama acts as a layer 0 chain that essentially connects other layer 1 blockchains so they can share their features. Therefore, this means that Remark NFTs will eventually be compatible with every blockchain, and on top of that, they are using a technology called colored coins, which is an alternative to the smart contracts, and that allows them to make NFTs that would have the most advanced features within the space. And on top of that, they will be super light for the blockchain. So essentially, one of the features that Remark NFTs will have is called multi-asset NFTs. This will basically allow you to have multiple assets in your NFTs. For example, if a famous author wants to sell their book as NFT, they can include in that NFT not just the text format that you can open and read, but also the audio format, which you can also listen if you want to. If there's a short film of how he wrote the book, or let's say he just filmed himself presenting the book or something like that, this could be included as well, and you can open the NFT as a video. Another feature that Remark offers is nested NFTs. So basically, the NFT gains the ability to contain another NFT inside of it. But what does this mean? Well, let's say you have a game and your character, which is an NFT, comes across a weapon that wants to pick up and use in the game. Instead of having that weapon as another NFT sitting in your wallet, the NFT will be inside of the NFT of your character, and this way your character's vision and stats will update in real time, as well as the value of your main NFT will go up as well. And the other feature that Remark will add to the NFT world is emotable NFTs. Basically, this will allow people to react to your NFT with different emojis, and these emojis will be recorded on the blockchain and they will be attached to your NFT, instead of being recorded on a marketplace like OpenSea for example, and they are visible only there. So this doesn't add up to the value of the NFT. And the application of that feature is that, let's say a celebrity reacts to your NFT, or maybe you get a really high amount of heart emojis on your NFT, this will be forever recorded on the blockchain and it will immediately increase its value. So as you see, it really brings the NFTs to life and they are no longer just expensive monkey pictures. I can give you many other examples where these features could be used, and they also have more features that they offer, but I don't want to spend too much time on that since the video is already too long. Just one more thing I want to mention is that they also have a marketplace built that is called Singular, a metaverse with the name Skybridge Canaria, in which they essentially sold out their land on launch, and another project called Chunky Bridge Hunters, which is not launched yet and I haven't found any information what it's going to be, when it's going to be launched, and etc. I guess this will be an NFT collection, but that's just my guess. Hopefully we'll see it sooner rather than later. So I believe you get the point of this project, what it actually does, and you understand how valuable actually is. So moving on to their roadmap, I actually noticed that in their 2022 ecosystem report, they shared with their community that they were unable to fulfill some of their goals, and that resulted in concerned community members, which essentially hurt the project by spreading FUD. That's why they decided not to share their roadmap for 2023 and just keep building instead and update the community when there is progress. So that's exactly what they did, and we can see that from this ecosystem report for April, May and June of 2023, where they essentially share progress on their marketplace, they secured some partnerships, launched a new newsletter and some other things as well. So basically, they are working on their current projects, trying to improve them, and as I showed you earlier, they are working on launching new projects as well. The team is fully doxed, we can see their positions, faces and a brief description of their experience. This always sends me a positive signals for the project, and it's one of the things I really like to see. They claim to have decades of development experience, and I kinda trust that considering what they built so far. I think we can say that they are innovators in the space, even though I know a few other crypto projects that are building similar features to power up the NFTs. But I think this project is unique and no one is doing exactly what these guys are doing, so this is always an edge over the competition. However, their Twitter account looks kinda dry despite having more than 60,000 followers. The engagement is very low, and that goes to show that people are currently not interested in this project. In terms of influencers, currently I don't see anyone talking about this project. During the last bull run, there were many influencers mentioning it, especially when the NFTs were the talk of the town. But now for some reason no one is paying attention to this gem. Well, I'm pretty sure they will start shilling this project left, right and center when the price starts to move again. And as I mentioned the price, the bear market is being pretty brutal for this coin, and the market cap currently sits at around $17 million. So this coin definitely falls under the risky side of the portfolio, but the upside potential is beyond 100x in my opinion, and that is with ease. If everything lines up perfectly, like NFTs being a strong narrative again, the team making good progress on their project and etc., this coin can absolutely skyrocket and make insane returns. And if I pull up the chart on TradingView, we can immediately see how poorly this coin performed in the bear market. Very disappointing performance unfortunately, and that goes to show that sometimes the fundamentals don't matter. Well, at least in the bear market, because in the bull market, more often than not, the coin with strong fundamentals is more valuable. Now, in terms of areas I'm looking to potentially buy this coin, honestly, we can't analyze this chart much. Obviously, the price is currently very close to its bottom, which is essentially a very good entry point, but considering the fact that downside price action is to be expected until the end of this year, at least in my opinion, I think this coin can go lower from here. Now, like I said, this is a very good entry point since it's around its bottom, and if we are greedy, we can wait to drop even lower, but we should acknowledge that we expose ourselves to missing out on buying the lows. Of course, with crypto, you never know when the market is gonna pump, and also when a certain coin is gonna pump, so that's why the DCA strategy is considered probably the best option. But now, like I promised, let's move on to the final and probably the best performing category for the next bull market, and that is privacy. Now, for this category, I picked a very interesting project called OXO, which is not just in the privacy niche, but is also capitalizing on the AI narrative, and that in combination, I think it's a very powerful formula for success. OXO is building a privacy DEX that will use advanced cryptography technologies like ZK Snark to ensure anonymous and untraceable cryptocurrency transactions for its users. They will also have an ERC20 mixer that uses LSAG technology and an inbuilt flash loan protocol that enables users to mix their tokens to achieve a higher degree of anonymity and untraceability. So these features will allow you to move your crypto around in different wallets or just simply buy and sell tokens without anyone having the ability to track these transactions. No one will be able to find out who is buying or selling, so that gives you the privacy that everyone should have, especially when it comes to money. And because this is something that pretty much any human being on the planet would want, and it's not niched down to the gamers, let's say, or any other specific group of people, I think this will be very highly appreciated by the investors. On top of that, another thing that probably everybody on the planet wants is to earn passive income. So OXO is promising to pay out its holders 100% of the trading fees from their DEX in ETH, and you don't have to stake their token or do anything to be eligible for these payouts. You just have to hold their token in your MetaMask wallet, and logically, the more tokens you have, the bigger piece of the pie you get. And this is actually a very smart way to incentivize people to hold your token, because the payouts will be in ETH, so ETH is considered a blue chip and its value will most likely go up in the future. So it's not some worthless coin that will go to zero one day, and they also not dilute their holders paying with their own coin. So that's actually a win-win, and people like this idea a lot. But on top of that, as I mentioned, they implemented artificial intelligence in their project, which will also bring a ton of value. So OXO has an AI-powered Solidity smart contract auditor that uses machine learning to analyze code for vulnerabilities, errors, and issues. The state-of-the-art technology generates comprehensive reports that detail any issues found, including a description of the problem, the location of the problem in the code, and suggestions for how to fix it. So these features are currently currently available in beta version, and they are working on their full versions, as well as some other AI tools that also look interesting. The first one is this anti-rug AI bot that will essentially protect you from rug pulls by analyzing the transactions and the code for the particular crypto coin you want to buy and detect any suspicious behavior, such as setting a tax too high, 100% let's say, or removing the liquidity. If the bot detects something, it will automatically front-run the transaction and prevent users from getting scammed. So let's be honest, the DeFi space is the Wild West right now, and so many people got involved in rug pulls or got scammed in any way that this feature just cannot be not useful. These things just really make the crypto space safer, and I think people will appreciate that. Of course, they are giving reasons for the people to choose to trade on their DEX because of the privacy, because of the anti-rug feature. Probably there will be even more tools in the future, and by trading on their DEX you will have to pay fees, and these fees will go to the holders in need. So it's really a snowball effect that everybody is benefiting from. And of course, they have one more tool under development currently, which is called AI Developer Hub, which essentially will allow users to deploy their own smart contract without having any coding skills, because their AI will write the code for you. Of course, we'll see how good this tool is, but the idea is definitely interesting, and considering how good ChatGPT is in coding, I think with GPT-3 this tool can definitely be a success. Okay, but these are all things that I like. Let's see what I don't like. Well, when we have a look at their team, what do you notice? They are not doxed, right? Exactly. I really don't like seeing teams behind projects hiding their names and faces and not showing their personalities. All we have is their Twitter accounts, which doesn't say much, and their Telegrams, which doesn't say anything basically. So I'm not sure who is the founder actually, probably this guy here, which is also the lead developer, but who knows. And as you see, there is no such thing as a perfect project where there are only green flags and no red flags. But for now, this doesn't mean anything. I mean, I don't like that the team is not doxed, but this doesn't mean they will run away with a bag or something like that. So apart from that, we can definitely say that they are innovators in the space, and they are building very valuable project in which the masses will be interested. They also combine two very powerful niches like privacy and AI, and this will give them an edge over any competition, because I'm pretty sure they both will be in very high demand in the next bull run. If I open up their Twitter account, we can see that they don't have a lot of following, but I want you to pay attention to their engagement. This kind of engagement is just too high for the amount of followers they have. Of course, compared to the previous projects, I don't mean in general. So this also gives me the feeling that buying followers is probably a common practice, except OXO's community is just much more engaging than the others, so who knows. But nonetheless, the community is there and they have a decent engagement, so we have to give them credit for that. In terms of influencers, there is one big influencer called Crypto God John that is constantly pushing this project to his audience. He got 500,000 followers, and we can argue if most of them are just bots, but he got a decent engagement too, and he said many times that he holds a pretty significant back of OXO tokens, so we can expect to shield this project very hard in the bull run. But how much we can make? What's the potential? Well, OXO is definitely a low-cap crypto gem, and the interesting thing about it is that it's been launched this year, and it already managed to do around 200x, so it's really hinting at how strong this coin is and what can potentially do. Its current market cap is $23 million, and there is definitely a lot of room to grow. I think in terms of safety and upside potential, the $20 to $50 million market cap is the perfect spot, but of course that should be aligned with the fundamentals and the narratives. I'm gonna quickly hop in on the chart, and we can see right away that the price is currently on a downtrend, and it might bounce off of this support area here, but it might also break down. And essentially what I'm personally looking is this major support area here, around the 1 cent mark. This will be an amazing buying opportunity in my opinion, and that's more than 50% down from the current price. Now this opportunity might not come in the coming weeks, but I will definitely keep an eye on the price action in order to make a sniper entry. Like I already mentioned, the coin did more than 200x, and grabbing some tokens at around this level, which will correspond to a $10 to $12 million market cap, will give us the opportunity to ride this coin eventually all the way up to probably $10 billion, which will represent a 1000x returns for us. Now I must say a couple of very important things in the end. First off, I want to say that I didn't mention Bitcoin and Ethereum in this portfolio, simply because they are obvious plays and probably the safest coins you can invest in, so you can't go wrong in having an exposure in these two. With that being said, I also didn't give you the percentage of allocations for the different coins in this portfolio, meaning how much you would want to invest in the privacy coin, how much in the gaming coin, and etc. I left all that to you. Why? Well, simply because that is very strongly correlated with the amount of risk you're willing to take. If you want to expose yourself to a higher risk, you will simply allocate allocate more to the riskier coins. And if you are leaning more towards the conservative side, you will put more into the higher cap coins. Now again, in terms of Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think you can't go wrong with them. However, why would you invest in coins that the upside potential is not really great, considering what this asset class is capable of, and especially that pretty much when Bitcoin is pumping, all other coins are pumping as well. Of course, some coins are pumping more than the others, and some are just dead forever, but that's the reason I spend my time digging in and doing this research to find the ones that are relatively safe and will go up in the future. You decide for yourself how much is your risk tolerance and whether you would want to invest in the biggest two or not. And with that out of the way, I also want to be completely transparent with you and let you know that I personally do not hold any of the mentioned coins in this video. I have literally zero exposure to these coins. I already gave you my price points I'm looking at, potentially expose myself, so I do not have any incentives to pump these coins right now so I can sell my bags or anything like that. That is not the case because I have nothing to sell. And on top of that, I have been paid a whopping $0 to promote these projects. Honestly, literally no one paid me to include their project in this video. These are all my personal picks, and every single one of them is being carefully selected among thousands of crypto projects. And of course, I want to finish off by saying that absolutely nothing in this video is financial advice. I know it sounds cliche and probably hear it every time, but honestly, don't take my word as a word of a professional. I am not a financial advisor, and I strongly suggest you to make any decisions based on your personal evaluations and not only based on my recommendations. And if you managed to get this far, congratulations, you're actually a legend and you are most likely gonna make it in the next bull market. I will highly appreciate it if you drop me a like, because that will help my channel a lot, and you can also ask me anything down in the comment section. I constantly scout for questions and try to answer them because I really appreciate my audience. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.